life.
Yes. Not the best advice. I mean, this game teaches you to dying is good, and you can just win. But not a very good lesson. Yeah, we can squeeze in a bit of donations here. Unfortunately, the end of the round is a little bit anticlimactic here, so.
Absolutely, yeah. Looks like some people had been coping with all of the clipping via pun. Keith the Greek donated $25 and said, "Clipping through walls sounds like they're paper thin." And Yorick donated $20 and said, "We didn't know we needed this, but this Paper Mario run is totally our jam. Mario and Luigi Paper Jam, not the other way around." And Calderon 405 contributes $50 and says, "Definitely can't play this game like this, but I'll still beat you in Smash." And they signed it JLC. So Warius contributes $10 and says, "For my first time catching the marathon live, I felt I needed to thank everyone here for what they're doing and donate, or as they say in Limerick, for my first time on the hype train, I'll keep it simple and plain. To thank the kings of speed and help those who most need, let's watch some games and make it rain."
So you can see your boss fights here, they just immediately kill you. It's pretty straightforward. The Roaring Monday fight isn't not really as much of a gimmick once you go into the actual mechanics of the fight. These guys, they have a gimmick where they can use battle cards as well, but we don't have battle cards, so it's a little unfair. Because they have battle cards and we don't. But obviously we can just abuse this. You can see I get a bunch of dark star points here, but it doesn't matter, the fight's over.
Yeah, and the next one is pretty gimmicky. Up to that point, those fights were just rematches, but now this is just the exclusive fight to this boss gauntlet, and it's very gimmicky, casually, and in no IVG. But
yeah. So yeah, the gimmick here is I take away your battle cards, replace them with like random ones that hurt you. And I was like, oh no, I lost some battle cards, but I don't actually have them.
yeah, this fight is just mainly just counterattack, and then they'll never really they won't normally attack you outside of these very gimmicky moves. But as long as you know how to dodge them, normally, then that's just how that fight rolls.
Yeah, I'm just throwing the boomerang for fun there. I don't actually have to do anything. I just have to wait. So I'm just gonna die.
Yeah. So it's time for the best part of the gauntlet.
Yeah, we got the final boss coming up. And to everyone's surprise, it's Bowser.
Wait, it's not Bort?
It's actually two Bowsers.
That's even better. But yeah, this fight will you'll see, it's gonna be, it's a treat.
Yeah.
Normally it's 2 phases, but
what are you talking about? I thought this was the first Mario game with only one phase boss fight.
Really?
Yeah, let me show you.
Maybe I'm thinking of Dream Team.
Oh no, I died. it's over. I don't
Yeah.
know what was going on with that Bowser wearing another Bowser's armor. That was kind of weird. That's definitely not the second phase of this fight. So yeah, that's the last fight. We just have about a minute of text, and then that's it. So yeah, thanks everyone for watching. I hope you enjoyed this run. I really think it's really fun to show off how broken this game is. And if we got the glitch incentive, which I don't know if we actually did, we have a few more things to show off.
Yes, so it looks like the glitch incentive was met.
Cool.
You guys are in for a treat.
There's more. Sorry. Yeah, there's about
Hello.
yeah. The gamer will fade out to black after everyone leaves here.
Welcome to the drawing stream.
And
Just watching some games done quick. While I
Sick.
draw this clicker.
yeah, that was a mostly clean run. Sorry it took so long to die at the end because we're normally supposed to do another fight to get down to 1 HP, so death happens faster. But yeah, so I guess I'll switch over to the glitch incentive now, right? We're good for that. Guess so. Alright, so I'm just gonna load some backup saves I have that have the glitches that I want to show off.
Yeah, so this first glitch that Giga is going to show off is basically happens right after the credits. I mean, we would normally let the credits roll, but credits take way too long. We need to be fast. So just restoring his save right here is just going to be quite a bit faster here.
Yeah, I like to show it off as like a natural continuation of the credits because it's just kind of interesting. But yeah, we want to make sure everything's flowing in a timely manner. So this will be a direct result of like if I just play out the credits there. So now I'm mysteriously in the Lakitu Center. This is post credits. So gotta make sure I can get back down here. There we go.
Yeah,
Well, now,
bro, the
did you-
server.
I was gonna say, did you guys know there's a post game in this game? So yeah, this is actually saved past the point of the final boss here. So you might be asking, what happens when I go back to the final boss? And it may not be so surprising to you, but we'll show you here. I still have the stored ability to slide right now. And you saw actually, I don't think I mentioned it, but it's just a small time save, like sliding into cutscenes. While I have the ability to do so.
Yeah, this is going to be very typical Paper Jam post-game stuff.
Yep. So as you can see, the platform isn't there, and the game crashes when you get to it.
Classic Paper Jam.
Yup. So now we're gonna open another file, which will have the next two things to show off.
Yeah, annoyingly, Paper Jam only has 2 save files. I believe that's the case for all the Mario RPGs on 3DS, so just always have to use these backup saves.
Yeah. Alright, so next we're gonna show off a trick that's usually done in no RPG, and it looks insane, and it goes by really fast. I'm gonna let Allegro take over the commentary for it. So hopefully I don't fail it, but it is a little bit of a tight window. So I'm gonna go for it.
Yeah. Okay, so Giga has basically done some walk through walls shenanigans to set this up, and now he's going to try and do some kind of activate paper plane, but he's gonna fall into the story trigger right there. But he's also going to touch the elevator. He's gonna cause some weird stuff, and he's going to try and do some trio abilities.
It was a little bit slow there. Actually, I think I was early because I have to switch over to plane as the elevator is rising there, so it's a little bit tight. And activate plane at the same time.
Yeah, so basically, Giga's trying to activate plane once the elevator rises up, because for whatever reason the game just lets you have access to that. And this will basically allow for us to skip the Kamek fight that we were kind of alluding to at the end of the 80% run. So,
hopefully still.
Yeah, this is probably
This
one of
was
the
first try every time, but now I'm going. That's not a little bit.
Yeah, this is
Oh, roll
this is pretty tricky. I think this is probably the hardest trick when it comes to stuff that doesn't involve clipping.
Yeah, and all of this is just to essentially get out of bounds the next room. Because even though, despite there being a lot of flip spots throughout the run, like the Kamek area has no spots to clip in.
Sadly.
Yeah. And this is similar to that drill setup I did earlier. I think I got it there. Yeah. Alright, nice.
Sick.
So yeah, this just puts us out of bounds, and you can just run around, go in the back here, and yeah, you can just go through the final area. Now you'll see here the pipe isn't actually loaded here, and that's the reason we can't do this at any percent, otherwise it would be faster if the pipe did load there. So now we're sending it to the last part of the glitch demonstration.
Yeah, this is going back to something we briefly saw in Gloomy Woods, involving some cutscene shenanigans with basically sprite values. But he's going to be doing a pretty interesting clip. This is probably one of the older clips that we used to use in the runs with Trio Grab. But yeah.
Yes.
Nope.
Yeah, it's just this game can be a little jank sometimes, but that's okay.
Yeah.
So
Like,
now you see,
you're not trying to glitch.
yeah, so this cutscene you saw in the realm, you saw in jail form. This cutscene is not supposed to have the Marios in it, so you can see they're not really respecting Luigi's personal space. They're not practicing social distancing. You shouldn't do this. And you saw a little bit in the any percent run. You'll see Luigi's scared, so he kind of disappears when I'm running and jumping. So I'm just gonna enter a trio grab here, and you're gonna see some interesting results. So now, if I cancel trio grab, you'll see Luigi's not feeling too well. He looks a little bit like Mario. So yeah, he actually transformed into Mario. You can see it here as I walk back and forth. He's stuck in an animation of Mario talking, and I think that has to do with a cutscene that's in this room with Mario talking. So yeah, it looks really silly, but we're not done yet. And now you can see Luigi's back, and I use trio grab. We're gonna go for a little bit of a stroll. Alright, when I cancel here, Luigi just feels like he's having a little change of hearts. He's now playing for enemies as a Goomba. I think if you remember earlier in the run, there's a tutorial here with Goombas, and I think that has to do with why he transforms into a Goomba. And now you'll see what happens if you try to most rooms in this next room. I'm gonna attempt to press A and cancel trio grab, and the game crashed. So, yep, that's Mario Luigi Paper Jam. I hope you all enjoyed, and yeah, I'll definitely be doing more attempts of this in the future on my Twitch at twitch.tv/KDB. And yeah, learn this in NoIBG. I definitely recommend checking out both categories. They're fun, and I also think that this run's pretty easy to get into. The 80% run. So we have a Mario Discord that everyone can enter and ask for help. So yeah, that's about it. Thank you all for having us.
Well, thank you very much, GigaDB, for that unbelievable Mario and Luigi Paper Jam run. That was mind-boggling. I feel like it was a fitting way to end the run as well after all the time that you spent out of bounds in the run. And we are going to show a quick Twitch ad really quick. We'll be back in just a moment.
You knew the risks when you decided to drive drunk. There could be a crash. People could get hurt or killed. You could get arrested. But one thing's for sure, you were wrong when you said it was no big deal. Only Discover has no annual fee on any card.
Hey guys, welcome to the stream. It's Sophia. I'm a Twitch ambassador and I just hit 10,000 subscribers on Twitch. A lot of people tune in to see the emotes being used. Yay! I didn't have anyone to do my emotes and then I found Jinko.
Sometimes finding the perfect job can be difficult. As a designer, I'm always trying to up-level my work, and this was a great opportunity to do that.
I'm so lucky that Jinko and I connected because I really don't think I would have this type of success without him.
Great moments are the work of many.
And some love is coming in for the Resident Evil 3 incentive that we're going to have a little bit later today if we raise enough money for it. Puzzlebox donated $10, saying I'll take 2 tickets for the Resident Evil 3 hype train. Mikhail's already saving my seat. I can't leave him hanging. And now we are going over to Scent and his wonderful house of prizes. Scent, take it away.
You gotta move the lamp over. Everyone really likes that lamp for some reason. I don't know why, but we're live actually. We're live. Hold that thought. It's good. Hello everyone. Good afternoon and welcome back to Summer Games Done Quick 2020 online. My name is Scent. I am of course here in my beautiful mother's home with my beautiful mother's lamp, and we're going to talk about some amazing prizes that you can win by donating to the marathon. Now, it's important to note that all the prizes I'm going to talk about are only available until the end of Mighty Mouse Link's Awakening run, which is coming up next. So make sure to get those donations in immediately. Now let's talk about some of the cool stuff we have right now. From our friends over at Fangamer and Legends of Localization, we have this B-book, bad translation, video games. It B-book. They are not wrong about that. No, it's a really cool look at a lot of video games from the early 90s and late 1980s, back when localization was a much different beast, and we got great lines of text like "All your base are belong to us," and "You invaders get you the hot bullets of shotgun to die." And really goes in depth at how those translation errors kind of make sense when you understand Japanese, but maybe don't understand English quite as well as a native speaker. It's a really cool book. It's a book I've read myself many times on plane rides to GDQ. I highly recommend it. $10 minimum donation again from now until the end of Link's Awakening, so make sure to get in on that. From our friend GDQ, we have this beautiful blooper, Crane Game Squid Print. It's a blooper playing a Crane game. It's adorable. It's a great mashup. I'm terrible at Crane games. I wouldn't want to play this Crane game, but I'd want this poster. It's also a $10 minimum donation. from now until the end of Link's Awakening. Let's just gently set that down right there. Talk about some of the other great stuff we have now from our friend Marlo Dobb. Huge shout outs to Marlo Dobb, always coming up with beautiful artwork for the stream. We have this amazing Wario planter. Wow! Put flowers in me. You see, you can put flowers in his head. He's adorable. He looks great. I don't know what else to say about it. It's just so cool. It's a $15 minimum donation. I love it. My mom didn't realize it was a planner, and she loved it when I told her, like, oh yeah, you can put flowers in it. So yeah, make sure to get some donations in for that. We're just gonna set it right back here on the table gently. Now finally, from an anonymous donor, we actually have a limited run edition of Battle Chef Brigade, the deluxe edition, along with a beautiful Battle Chef Brigade art book. You get a physical copy of the game. This was a game that was generally released as digital, but Limited Run produced a physical copy in a limited run, so of course you can get yourself a copy for it for the Switch, as well as this beautiful art book, which shows tons of different like concept and character art from the game. It all looks really cool. I love the art style of Battle Chef Brigade. It's got that very like Western anime style to it. Super great. It comes to us again from an anonymous donor. You know who you are. Thank you so much for donating it. $20 minimum donation from now until the end of Link's Awakening coming up. Now, there's one more prize I have to talk about. Of course, it's our grand prize. You need to donate $200 to be able to be eligible to win it. However, that's cumulative throughout the entire marathon, and it is a custom prop from our friends over at Heroic Replicas. You can head over to gamesdonequick.com and check out the tracker to find out all of the information on that prize, all the different props you can choose from, and the different customizations available for them, as well as you can see a link to a image gallery full of all the different like pictures of them. So you can take a look. There's some really cool stuff in there. There's a full-size Buster sword from Final Fantasy VII. There's a full-size Fierce Deity sword from Majora's Mask. They look amazing. You should definitely take a look. You should definitely donate. Donate $20 right now. You'll get into everything I just talked about. You're 10% of the way to getting in on that grand prize. Now, there's one more thing I have to mention. Trust me, it's going to be worth it. Now, some of you, I'm sure, have Amazon Prime. We have Amazon Prime. We're getting a lot of stuff delivered. I actually renewed my Amazon Prime the other day because I was getting a pair of headphones, and they said, hey, you want an Amazon Prime membership for a month for $2? And the shipping for 2 days without Amazon Prime was like $20 or something. So yeah, sure, why not? If you have Amazon Prime, you have Prime Gaming. And if you have Prime Gaming, you can sub to a channel on Twitch every month, and the channel still gets the full revenue from that sub, even though you didn't have to pay anything for it. Now, here's where that's important. Games Done Quick is donating all of the revenue from the subs and bits, minus any taxes we need to pay on that, to charity for the month of August. So when you see those hype trains going on, and you see people dropping subs and dropping bits to the channel, the revenue from that, we're donating right back to MSF. It's a great opportunity, and again, if you have Amazon Prime, you can basically get in on that for no cost to yourself, and that's super cool. You know what else is super cool? Link's Awakening. There's been a lot of hype around the remake, but the original is super broken and a super amazing speedrun. And let's put it back up to the front and get hype for Mega Mouth's run of Link's Awakening.
We have a $20 donation from Victoria218 saying, my partner is sitting watching this on his day off after going above and beyond in both his personal life and work life. I know how much he loves GDQ, and I hope this gets read so he knows how much I love you and how wonderful you are. It's a wonderful donation. And now we have a wonderful run, Mighty Mouth, with Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening. Mighty Mouth, the stage is yours.
Hi there, my name's Mighty Mouse, and I'm living Link's Awakening. I hope you're all doing well today. You're all very wonderful. Okay, and then I have the commentators as well, Alpha, Astro, and Phantom Matt, if y'all want to introduce yourselves.
Hi, I'm Alpha 5, and I like to talk a lot about this game. Hi, I'm Astronomus.
Hi, I'm Phantom Matt, and go ahead, Astro.
I'm Astronomus. I also like to talk about this game and stuff, and I run it.
Okay.
And I'm Phantom Matt, and I guess I like to talk about this game and make people feel bad because they have to watch me play this game.
Okay, so, I guess 3, 2, 1, go.
Okay, so this is Link's Awakening. This is the Warpless category. Warpless is a interesting rule set. It means that we can't do a system transition. The game is set up into 3 map worlds: the Overworld, the Underworld, and Underworld 2. That means we can't go out of bounds to go from D8 to D7, things like that. We cannot transition while standing on a solid tile, and we cannot do a screen scroll, which if you ever had the original release of the game, you can push select and just kind of screen grab and pull yourself over. So we can't do those things. And meanwhile, we're just going to kind of walk over to the beach here because we're going to go find our sword. And just quick movement, but just enjoy the game while there's no glitches in it because that's ending shortly.
Oh yeah, we break this thing very soon.
Yeah, so coming up is the first little bit of speed, and let's see if it doesn't look like Mighty got it. You grab the sword, saves a little bit of time here, but he specifically takes that path to push that spining over because we're approaching our first glitch of the run. So we picked up the, I'm going to say 5th most broken item in the game, the sword. The sword does damage, so that's why it's extremely powerful, but also with the sword and shield, they both add an extra hitbox to links, and we're going to be doing rupee duping. So the rupees pop up in the air, and if you have your sword or shield out, the shield is faster for this, and the rupee lands on both, and Mighty is getting just great rupee luck. Okay, as you can see, he got up to 5. He'll collect the rupee on both, but now we get to wait and hope he gets 10 rupees in this grass maze, because we need 10 rupees.
The grass is not always kind, contrary to what many people say.
Okay, he got the
He got
dupe
his juice
on
there,
the,
that was good.
on one of the grass rupees.
Again, there we got 8, 9.
Oh, got another dupe.
One more.
Come on,
That's a
one more.
good grass luck. I was a little worried.
Okay.
There we go. We did it.
There we go.
Yay.
That is
So we need these 10 rupees for the shop because we want to purchase bombs, and we also want to purchase the powder at the same time. So we can use the fact that this game likes to be flashy with its rupee count, and so what Mighty's going to do here is that he's going to save and quit right as he purchases the bombs, and what that's going to do is that that's going to interrupt the rupee countdown, and so we get to keep our 10 rupees.
And just open the start menu to make sure he had the bombs. We're robbing the shopkeeper because Mighty feels good about himself because he got it for free. Now we're moving on to the trendy game, which this should be fine. There's a decent visual cue. We open the save and quit menu to skip his long text that we don't care about. And Mighty should get it. We're going to be using the save and quit menu to skip a lot of text boxes in this game. It saves quite a bit of time. We are playing on the Japanese version of this game for the Warpless category. It saves the most time in this run. For the 100% version of this game, it's faster to play on like French or Italian or something like that. It's definitely an E release.
Yeah, French.
Helps the French runners who are already too fast in this game go even faster. But yeah, so Astro, you want to talk about this thing that Mighty's going to be doing in a second?
Okay, so what Mighty's going to be doing is a trick coming up called a bomb trigger. So essentially, if you place 2 bombs on the same screen, the game gets really, really confused, and so on that second bomb explosion, it'll trigger the next event that's supposed to happen on that screen. So what Mighty's going to be doing is killing this moblin up here to move that value over so that we can trigger trigger Terran turning back into a human, and so we can use that to skip using the powder on him.
Yeah, that was a really, really clean set of bomb triggers. That was, sometimes you have to line yourself up because you really have to be against that transition, and
yeah,
we can use that basically on any animation that doesn't require a secondary set of conditions, such as having a key or being in a certain position, or say having 8 instruments. We do have to collect all 8 instruments to enter the egg because we can't system transition, otherwise this category is like 3 minutes long. The out-of-bounds rules are in place to make it so that we can play this game at all.
Alright, so now we're in Dungeon 1. This is going to be where we pick up what I believe is the most broken item in the game. Alpha might make an argument that it's second.
It's
It's definitely top 2.
Top 2, yeah.
In this game, it's 2. In other games, it's number 1. But just a nice bit of movement here, walking, avoiding souls and spikes.
Yeah, we have the spiky beetles coming up, but probably time for like one quick donation.
Sure. We have $10 from Taeyun saying, "Good morning from Hawaii. Excited for the Link's Awakening run, so this should go toward Mighty Mouse choice of incentive."
One more, I guess.
Absolutely. We have $5 from Anonymous saying, "Hyped for one of my favorite games from the incredible Legend of Zelda franchise. Thanks to all runners and GDQ staff for making this event happen."
Alright, so we have the Rock's Feather now. The Rock's Feather does one thing. It lets us jump. And jumping in a game like this is really, really broken.
Yeah.
So, for example, you're going to see up here, Mighty's just going to go inside this wall, and he's going to jump, and that's super jump. We basically are able to, in dungeons, fall off the walls because walls are ledges. They reuse stuff because it's nice and convenient. And by clipping into the wall, we can clip into the, we can go far enough in that the game thinks that we're just going to fall down when we jump off. And there's a couple different varieties of how that trick works. You have what you can do it with a sword, you can do it with an arrow, or you can do it naked, where you don't use any items to trigger it. It's just deep movement.
Speaking of arrows, the game doesn't expect us to have the bow at this point, so we can basically 1 or 2 shot everything with the bow.
Yeah, and here's Moldorm. It is unironically the hardest boss in this game. If you fall to that hit, it can be a problem. Mighty dealing with that pretty well. Just fun facts: we collect our first instrument, we have to sit through this cutscene, which is going to be hopefully the last one of these that we see, for reasons that we'll get to later. This game was originally a port from A Link to the Past. It was supposed to be a Game Boy port, and then somewhere in the development, they're just like, well, we're just going to go our own way with this. It either became too difficult to continue porting a Super Nintendo game to the original Game Boy hardware and whatnot. So, you have a bunch of A Link to the Past enemies, such as Moldorm and a couple more we'll see later. But one thing that held over, and I'll just talk about it now because we don't have time to talk about it later, are bomb arrows that were originally planned for that version of the game when you had 2 swappable weapons, and then Miyamoto said the sword must always be equipped. So they didn't have that, but bomb arrows do exist in this game as we are now walking, and one of the reasons this version of the game is great, these kids talk a lot, but we can just push the B button at them and say no, and they just stop, and you don't have to sit through like 10 text boxes. It's great.
Alright, so now we got, a long bit of walking now?
Yeah, just a little bit. Some swift movements as we're going to go rescue everybody's favorite Zelda character, Chain Chomp.
It might be a good time to mention that the way movement works in this game is it's 16 frames if you're moving in a cardinal direction, up, down, left, right. 12 if you're moving diagonally, but you go at the full speed if you're jumping diagonally, right?
Yes, that is correct. So
it's faster to jump diagonally than to walk diagonally.
Yeah, and also if you're jumping, you don't lose time to slashing. You can just jump and slash and keep your momentum.
Yeah, so here's the Moblin King. He shoots anywhere between 2 and 4 arrows before he decides to charge you. He can optimally do okay, Mighty gets him. It takes 8 hits. Your sword spin slash does 2, and your sword slashes do 1. And here is what should be the most broken thing in the game is just getting a chain chomp because Zelda has those. This dog, as it is, can really ruin things. But upcoming, we have another little clip here. So text boxes in this game are a little janky, and anything that generates text box kind of forces you into places, and we can use those after clipping into the wall, which is something Nintendo patched out in the Switch re-release of this game, because flipping into walls is broken, and that's great Bow Wow RNG. You can just sort of clip through everything as long as you can generate a text box. Mighty burns all his powder here. We only need powder to light those, and we don't want it in our inventory for reasons that will be relevant after we complete Dungeon 2, which is the last dungeon we're really going to be doing with any sort of legitimacy whatsoever.
Yeah.
Well,
Maybe
for right now,
Dungeon 3.
we got some good skips there.
Yeah, I'm not buying Dungeon 3 being normal.
It definitely feels that we go the most places somewhat intentionally in Dungeon 3. That's fair.
It's only because there's a long walk at the beginning.
Yeah, Dungeon 3's got a lot of mechanics in it, but 2D sections in this game are very interesting with how they interact with like the Rock's Feather. They'll be more relevant later, but and there's other properties then. So Hinox, Binox.
Yeah.
That's the finest joke.
Listen, you missed your pun earlier, so I decided to make you upset.
No, I'm being serious. I love that joke. I love calling it Binoxes.
Okay, so here we have the
Just
ghost room. When he's gonna do the sword strat. This room is coded so that if ghosts leave the screen, it's done because if you light the flames, they like run away, but you can kind of confuse them. And now we're done with dungeon 2. Gotta do a couple things now.
Yeah, so Mighty's gonna be going to this warp portal nearby the little keyhole to open up Dungeon 4. And that's gonna be important for later because we want to get to the keyhole quicker. And so we just kind of go this way first.
I see some people asking who's in the corner. That's my mom. She wanted to watch.
Yeah.
So.
Shoutouts to Mighty's mom.
So now we save and quit back from that warp point because we're on the screen with it, it activates. And now we're going to head the opposite direction because we got rid of all of our powder in Dungeon 2. Which means that the mushroom respawns on the field.
Yeah, and the mushroom is it's the other most broken item in this game because that part where I said you can clip through everything with tech boxes, well, this gives you a text box, but you can't really clip with it, but it'll have some other interesting properties with pits because, well, you can't be over a pit when you're reading. So there's a trick coming up with that, but we have a lot of walking here, so maybe this is a good time for some donations. This way, dodge the hard piece of shame. Does not pick that up. That's good.
What a champion.
Yeah, he'd have to reset if he picked it up because it loses 2 seconds.
Alright, well, we have $20 from Super Saiyan 5 saying have to get a donation in for one of the top Zelda games ever made. Love this game so much. Let's get a train going and see if we can reach 500K today. Hi!
So, coming up in like 2 screens, we have one of the major reasons we need mushroom is Villa Skip. We're gonna skip all of Candlelit Castle, much to me being upset because it's the greatest castle in existence. Just so you know, the menu is a tile. It's inbounds. We promise it doesn't violate any rule set. But it just kind of clips you down onto the tile with the menu with a text box, and you just transition down onto the grass, and then the game forcibly zips you because you're not supposed to be on a solid tile after you transition. But only transitioning from solid tiles is banned, so we're fine. And it's going to be the same way for escaping as well.
Yeah.
Yep.
You could leave from the back of the villa the intended way, but this is faster.
Yeah. But that whole sequence skips Kayla Castle talking to Richard and having to return Bow Wow, which means we are stuck with this 6-sprite monstrosity in our overworld, which will be relevant later because this game doesn't deal well when there's too many things on the screen.
It's also nice to point out that because of clipping, Link has noodle arms that can just reach around the front of that key block. You don't need to put it in the front.
There's a keyhole in the back.
Oh, I like to think that he has giant, long extendo arms.
Then what's holding the sword?
He's got 3 arms.
Okay, there we go. That explains it. Okay, so it seemed mighty killing a lot of enemies here. This game has a mechanic that is Piece of Power. If you ever played this casually, you probably got it a lot, or just Guardian Acorns, which there's one right now. The Piece of Power increases Link's movement speed, will double his damage against most things, and grant a knockback effect, and lets him pick up things faster. Just saving and quitting resets the counter of how many enemies you need to kill. It's 30, it's heart piece, it's heart container dependent. But Dungeon 3 is the only stretch of the game where we don't save and quit long enough that we can pick it up and save time. And that's Doggo Skip, a spin jump, a spin attack super jump. that lets us skip over a key, which saves. Pretty nifty.
And we got too late, you can soft lock, and then you have to save and quit and go back to the beginning of the dungeon.
Yeah, there are, even in the pushable versions of those blocks, which some super jumps will use, you can just get stuck in them, and it's kind of unfortunate. And you've really got to go fast here. You don't have time to do anything.
It's definitely not the easiest trick to do, but once you get it down, muscle memory nails it perfectly.
It's not the worst trick, especially in this run.
So another block flip.
Yeah.
Keep going.
Yeah. So here's the other interesting thing, and this is environmental damage. It doesn't ruin piece of power stacks, which is good. You get hit 3 times. So interesting fact about the 2D sections: if you boost off the ledge, you don't lose your thing saying, "Hey, you're on the ground," so you can just jump whenever you want as you're falling. As we move on to Slime Eye, Spidey is using the map menu to skip a text, and hopefully this fight goes well.
It's
Gonna
going
split
well.
them.
Fine.
Good slime there.
Easy.
Yeah.
Alright, so Mighty's going to be going for a trick here, where he needs to be able to hear the game, because he's going to land on the tile as he picks up the instrument. He unfortunately didn't get it. It's rather finicky to
Oh,
get.
man.
Called Instrument Cutscene Skip.
Yeah.
Not getting it this time, but he'll get 7 other chances. No, 6 other chances. As he picks up the instrument, he unfortunately didn't get it. It's rather finicky to
Oh,
get.
man.
Called Instrument Cutscene Skip.
Yeah.
Not getting it this time, but he'll get 7 other chances. No, 6 other chances
That's
during
6.
the run. My bad, I can't
Yeah.
count.
Yeah.
And so-
that was a little unfortunate to miss because it gives you some safety. But
Oh, yeah. Well,
But getting one saves like what, 15 seconds for each?
yeah,
Yeah,
each
and,
one.
yeah. And so I have a little wager. So for every ICS that Mighty gets, I will add $10 to my already base donation that I will be donating. So as an incentive for Mighty to get all of the ICSs.
it is not an easy trick, and it is somewhat frame rule dependent. You either have a 2-frame window or a 1-frame window to get it. It should be somewhat consistent, but it never is. So
At best, it's like what, a 50% chance?
yeah, it's you usually just call it a coin flip trick and hope you get it. If not, don't worry about it. And why are you taking so much damage?
Well, I just decided that I don't want to talk to the owl again.
Oh, okay, that's fair.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
So
fair.
He hurts a lot more than those cucumber men do.
yeah. So okay, that's yeah. So he didn't get the ICS, so he's gonna save there because this trick can kill everything if something goes slightly wrong. It should be okay, but this is a walrus skip. So normally you have to wake up the walrus by doing this whole side quest with Marin, but instead bombs make a really loud sound, so that will also wake up the walrus because for some reason it sounds just like Marin. So as you can see, it's insane.
Yeah, there's also another way of doing this. If you basically overload the game with sprites, you can just make the walrus disappear. People used to do that.
Yeah,
The
so
bomb is actually the most versatile instrument in the history of time. Mighty,
Yeah.
no!
yeah, so
No, Mighty.
no, don't stop, go back. No, but he had to die there. When you do that trick, specifically because we have Bow Wow, the game unlocks things again for you. Your people and your movement. When all NPCs leave that screen, so if you don't exit that room correctly, it's bad. So we're gonna throw some arrows into the sand, and we find a fish key.
Nice.
There's nothing in there. It's fine.
Yeah. You're giving it to the sand gods.
I had a bad pun for that earlier, but I just completely forgot about it.
It's
Also,
fine. You used your pun a lot more earlier.
I suppose that my mom wants everybody to know that she says hi. Whispering to the back, so hi everybody.
Hey, Chat,
from my
you just
mom.
got noticed by Mighty's mom. How do you feel?
Oh, they're probably ecstatic about this. So we got the dungeon 4 key.
Yeah, so this war that we got earlier, important.
Yeah. So
Who
these
wants to
two
explain
boys.
shack jumps?
Let me not explain
you-
super
yeah.
jumps. So, there's another way to do a super jump, and that's if you go next to an interactable object, such as a key block or a pushable block, and you could just naked super jump off of it, because things work. Also, Mighty, you might want to know that chat is now exploding.
With my mom.
I've been
So this is Dungeon 4. Mighty grabbed a refill on his bombs because we're gonna need a lot of those coming up soon.
Bomb triggers are a little important.
And we sort of just break this dungeon because of that one cross jump.
Yeah.
So normally you have to go all the way around the bottom. But we'll
I would
see
say-
some stuff.
I would say even people as kids, as a kid, I even did like the cross jumps that just, cut corners and whatever, because I'm like, I can do this jump, and then, I couldn't find the key. But this is also known as the worst room in the game. For this reason, it's the worst room in the game.
Yeah, because we
It's,
want
the
to save
first
our
of
bombs.
dungeons.
We need to save our bombs and arrows, so we really don't want to use a bomb arrow there.
I suppose I probably could have, but at that point I was determined.
Yeah,
It was
you're
committed.
committed.
We're proud of you,
It
Mighty.
looks cool anyways.
So that cross jump easily broken. We just skipped what,
Yeah.
5-ish rooms?
Yeah. You don't even need the boots to do that.
Jeez.
So, shoutouts to the greatest mini boss ever, Q-Ball. He just likes
Favorite
to
stun lock in
dance.
the game.
Yeah. It's not a trivial stun lock because you have to be real fast and don't accidentally mess up how you set up and make sure you know where to time spin slash, but he's definitely the mini boss that we will see during this run.
Yo, shout out to the flipper.
Yeah.
Singular.
Single flipper.
You fit your entire body into it. That's how it works.
It's
It's
a
kind of like
mermaid
a mermaid
suit
suit.
in the Oracle
Yeah.
games, yeah.
But also pretty good at those games.
Oh yeah. So we've talked about super jumps a bit, right? Well, you clip into the wall, and things happen. So we saw Dodongo skip earlier. So now we're gonna see a trick called P-Hat Quick, where we're just gonna do a super jump, clink off the P-Hat, and it shoots us down, which allows us to get up here and skip another decent portion of the dungeon and get the big
Yeah.
key early.
And then, basically when you're in ledge fall. So moving on to, a boss.
Oh my
Can't
god,
hook
it's a
shot him,
fish.
he's invincible.
Oh, yo,
he
shout
talked
out
to
to
you.
Cravone, by the
Yeah,
way.
yeah, that's Cravone's skull. He's a runner of this game, or retired runner, whatever he wants to say on a given day. He informed us that we cannot hook shot down in that room. Make sure to go find that clip, it's amazing.
Alright, here we go. I have another attempt at ICS, and I think he got it
Oh,
this
he
time.
got it. He got it.
So now he can
Very
just save and
nice.
quit.
That is 1 out of 7.
Yep, and...
I think Mighty's looking for his. There you go.
Oh, yeah,
There we
his
go.
headphones fell out.
No, it didn't fall out.
No.
He took it out to do ICS.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
right.
then it fell further.
Because you need to hear when Link hits the ground in order to actually do ICS, so it's important.
Yeah, so we're running up to best music in game, Telltale Mountain Range. That ICS used to be absolutely required for this category, without question. If you didn't get that, so the reason why we don't do ICS in the first dungeon is a bunch of flags are set kind of during that cutscene, occasionally. The Dungeon 3 one, it doesn't matter. For Dungeon 4, that's what spawns the ghost. For Dungeon 1, it's what lets you get Bow Wow. We need Bow Wow, obviously, to enter Dungeon 2, or we can't do anything without cheating really hard, which is really easy in this game, but that's banned for this category. So, we skip the ghost. The ghost will spawn if we ever go further than 4 tiles south on the map. So the top 4 tiles are the only places we're going to do, so we don't have to do a really stupid ghost just quest. But there's another way to avoid having to deal with that ghost, and it's Pick Level 2 Bracelet, which we can do without ever doing that, but we'll get to that later, is Mighty is going to, normally you have to either do a whole bunch of stuff with a rooster and all this other stuff, but super
Or
jumps
you
are pretty cool.
So, in other games that have this same name, this is out of bounds, but we call this Rooster Skip Skip as opposed to Rooster Skip, where we'd go through the giant cave to the right, or Rooster Skip 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 Skip, which is where we just get the rooster.
Yeah, there were old rule sets of this that were like 2 years old. You would see people do basically the same thing with the mushroom. They would jump up with the boots, they'd mushroom onto the wall, and then they'd boots jump over, but that's no longer, doing that trick in particular is no longer illegal, so we just do that, and that's the best
It's
way of
super
doing it.
stressful too.
Yeah, the every version of skipping rooster skip except for that one is the worst. So that's why this is definitely probably one of the most cozy categories that exist in all of Link's Awakening. The tricks aren't horrifically stressful other than ICS. So we have that, and here's a fun thing.
Those
mushroom
mushrooms
abuse.
Oh, that what is it, beetle? I believe
Hard
they're called.
hat.
Yeah, hard hat beat.
They're evil.
And people don't know that they're vulnerable to bombs and they drop a bomb on death, but use that. He has to open the saving quit menu here because while you're in ledge fall, which is what happens when you kind of get put into as if you jumped off a ledge. If you save and quit, you can control Link again if you do it on the transition, and that's useful there and one other time as so fun things about sprites in this game. Everything is a sprite, including cutscenes and Bow Wow. Bow Wow, please! This is the second time!
So, what can happen is Bow Wow can eat the cutscene entity that spawns when you trigger an event, which would mean that in that circumstance, the tower wouldn't turn and we can continue walking. So we just walk off screen, walk back to the scene. Bam, there's a staircase right there at the tower.
I've literally only seen Bow Wow not eat that cutscene twice, and a previous time was when we did the practice, run through of this game.
He's just mean, he hates Mighty.
Yeah,
So,
oh man.
Bomb triggers.
yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the bomb triggers that you've seen, because now you're going to get to see some smooth ones right here. You don't need a metal ball, contrary to popular belief, to blow up a tower, because explosives are much more modern and useful.
Who would have known that tools used for demolition would be good for demolition use?
Surprise! It's also really important that Mighty gets these bomb triggers really smoothly, because as you can see, he doesn't have much room for error.
Yeah, only 2 bombs left there.
And the cost of that is going around and getting a bomb pickup on the 3rd floor, or going back to the 1st floor and picking up 2 bombs there.
And that's
so coming up is a required trick for this category, not for other categories, called Goomba Surf. So essentially, Mighty is going to be clipping into the very edge of the upcoming wall, and then is going to be going up close to that wall and hugging it, and then if the Goomba moves right, you can do a naked super jump off that wall onto the Goomba and onto the upper ledge. Very nice.
Yeah, very good. And yeah, that's the end of the major time losses for RNG in this run. As he, fun fact, if you skip the text there, the Grim Creeper is still riding Evil Eagle during the cutscene. It's kind of amusing, as he fuses with himself to form Grim Creepus. So if you transition off that screen, there's a floor here, and we can fight Evil Eagles with bombs, skipping the need for the D2 shield, or the level 2 shield, But yeah, the Goomba Surf is, oh.
I think that one missed.
Yeah, I think the
timing's
bomb.
rather...
Oh no.
Just a little outside.
Okay, so resetting.
Restart the fight.
Yeah,
the bombs.
Okay, I'm going to need to find bombs.
You could just go back down and get them. And then you
yeah,
just
he
do Goomba
has to
Surf again.
redo Goomba Surf.
Yeah, what's nice about this fight is that you can actually leave the boss arena.
Yeah, the timing on it is when his, the tail end of his claw leaves the screen. Yeah, just getting the text, because... Oof. But yeah, Goomba Surf is, humongously earned. It's 25%, and we kind of skip it everywhere else. So he's playing on the 1.0 version of this card, so he can just push, hold the jump button, and he can just transition right there. It saves half a second.
Okay, so you're gonna plan on going back into the dungeon? dungeon to
Yeah,
get the... Okay.
Oh,
Yeah, it's the
I'm
smart
gonna
move.
go back here.
So I mentioned before that there was
There are bombs on the left
pickups in this
side.
place. There are bombs on the left side. That's 2, but there's also the 10 bomb pickup on the
I
third.
need the 10, but Jesus, I
Probably
need like
want the
5.
10.
Yeah.
And we're gonna need a lot of bombs coming up in this section.
Yeah, you usually should have
Unfortunately,
about
that
9 bombs here. But
A little bit of safety here.
Yeah.
Quite safety.
probably at the time for
Required
donation
safety. Yeah.
while we do this.
Donations.
Absolutely. We have a $1,000 anonymous donation saying, "This is one of my favorite games from my childhood. I can't think of a better game to donate during. Let's all help each other out in these very difficult times."
Yo, thank you so much.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Mott contributes $333 saying, "Ah, yes, I remember playing Link's Awakening on the Game Boy Pocket in the car ride from street lamp to street lamp. Such a nice childhood memory and such a terrible way of playing any game."
I really wish I couldn't relate to that as much as I can. So, there's the save and quit to regain control, otherwise you fall down in that pit. We do not want to do that, that's slow. We are just gonna go, how do we count, that, like, how do numbers work? It's 1, 3, 7, 8, something like that?
No, you
Yeah.
forgot 2.1. It's 1, 2.1, 3,
Oh,
4,
right.
7.
4, 7, 8,
I.
6, 5, 8, 2.2.
Yeah,
So it
that
turns out-
sounds right.
But mushroom allows you to just hover on air. And
Yeah,
hey, look,
it's-
here's Marin.
Yeah, if Mighty wants to
ignore
waste
her.
40 seconds, he can talk to her, but that's slow.
we can also just kind of jump. If we're at the bottom of the screen, we can just kind of jump and ignore the triggers. That's fun.
So, yeah, you just dodge her, because you're supposed to hookshot across. Now, Matt, explain why this is your favorite part of the game coming up here.
So this room up ahead is called the pit which kills, and that's why it kills. You have to jump across here with the full dash jump, use the mushroom to clip into this wall down here and jump up, Mighty making it looking
Yeah,
easy. That's
very
actually
nice.
not that easy to do at all.
I
And
would
was
say
a
that's-
real killer during the tournament that we had a couple of years ago.
Yeah, if
the
you,
last
while you're clipped into a wall like that over a pit, you cannot move a direction at all. So what Mighty had to do there was basically jump and hold a direction at the same time to get the required movement to actually make it to that ledge. So it's really crazy.
I should also point out that clipping prevents knockback,
Yeah, he
which
picked
means
up
that we
that.
never need the level 2 shield.
He picked up that heart for safety because he took some damage re-entering D7, and if he doesn't get it framed perfectly, it would have taken him out. So we're waking up the giant stone turtle with some bombs, and his hitbox doesn't start until battle begins. He can just kind of walk through it. Another fun fact: if you wake him with bomb triggers, if you kill him, it doesn't stop him from being there. But also, he has 1 HP. But
Makes it a very
unfortunately,
easy fight.
we do that. We skip the best song in the game.
The Ballad of the Windfish at the egg.
No,
Mambo's Mambo, obviously.
disagree.
Heights.
Hard
Delta
disagree.
Heights. The Nightmare song. Oh wait,
Yeah.
what is that?
Wait, what? No, this game is
No.
perfectly legit. This island exists.
Yeah.
This island is fake.
Despite everything you've seen so far suggesting the opposite, this island is a real island.
Also, blocks work
Yeah.
perfectly fine. Don't worry about the fact that he just clipped into the block and then pushed between two and then they split.
Yeah, it basically just checks his Y coordinate, and if he's in the right area and then also good enough on the X coordinate, it's just like, yeah, sure, it's being pushed this way. It doesn't really care what direction you're pushing. As we are moving on to a room that contains pretty strong item, mildly powerful. It's
Shout out to
the
Blano
fire
Skip.
rod. Yeah, there's Blano Skip. We don't go there. Magic rod. It sets things on magic. Very important. But this item has a lot of things, and it's one of the reasons why if you only played the DX version of this game, you notice that the start menu in the LA version is very, very fast and very snappy. The reason for this is because they were trying to patch out exactly what we're about to do with this magic rod. If through a transition you shoot the magic rod and kind of open the start menu at the right time, it kind of plays the sounds forever, and it puts so many things in the screen. The game can't put anything here anymore because, unlike, say, the Link's Awakening remake, the little-known fact, the original Game Boy is a slightly weaker console than the Nintendo Switch. But there's just so many sound effects being loaded in that it can't spawn anything, and when that room is just like defeat everything trigger, it's like, okay, it's there. But then when you're in a mini boss room and you open that, you just kind of get zipped to the next room. So we're thrown into a filler room, which has a chest that has a level 2 bracelet. And now I'm going to spend the rest of forever explaining why that's not breaking the worthless rule. So it is within D8. It is legal. It's a filler room that they put throughout the dungeon. It is still flagged as D8. We did not transition from a solid tile. Q-Ball basically threw us from a non-solid tile into that room by being in there because it freaks out when you enter that room backwards. And you can do that in D4 too, if you do get to the other side of Q-Ball. You didn't screen scroll because the definition of that requires you to execute the glitch, but the game did it, so it's fine. So we promise you that it's okay. And if you're still upset about it, it makes this category function at all, because if you missed D4 ICS, it would just be a reset on a 50-50 trick 20 minutes in, and that's terrible, so... okay.
Yeah, so thanks for that explanation. So yeah, now we're headed to the, through the Armos Maze, and you saw that we left D8 early. That's actually important because it's faster to leave D8 right now and come back later. So we just take that warp portal and then we go to fight the Armos Knight here in the Armos Maze, which just gets absolutely annihilated.
Yeah. It's also worth noting that this place really shows the limitations of the Game Boy because there's so many sprites on screen. And each one of the dash clouds that Link kicks out with his boots are a sprite. There's sprites with Bow Wow. There's sprites with the enemies. It just makes a mess of everything.
Normally when you're so just with Bow Wow, just, you know, kind of ruins it. This game does run at 60 FPS, and the slowdown will slow down the music, so it gets really, really wonky in there, but goodbye, Armos Knight.
Turns out that knights are weak to magic. Thanks, Fire Emblem.
So, does the music count as a sprite in this situation? That's why it slows down?
Yeah, probably. I mean, that's why the trigger, like the spawn prevention, or deloading as we call it, because we're lazy and named it incorrectly. That's kind of how it works. It's just so much stuff. But it doesn't crash. The game doesn't crash.
Hey, we're out of the 2 FPS maze.
And you're gonna find out exactly how many things count as sprites, or, well, just things the game has to spawn in per map fairly soon, because the magic rod is gonna work its magic through the rest of the game and make it much more cozy to deal with as we go through. I give big shout-outs to Zorlax for not being able to jump over this pit.
Shout-outs to Node as well for not being able to jump over the smaller pit.
Poor gentleman, they'll never be let to live it down.
To save arrows, he prevented the cutscene from spawning there. If you shoot a bomb arrow there, Bow Wow will eat that cutscene. That one, I've never seen fail. If it does, I'm gonna be even more confused.
So this is Dungeon 6. This is where we're supposed to get the level 2 bracelet, but we don't really need it because it was on the other side, and this also shows off the power of the magic rod. Because normally all of these rooms are supposed to have things in them that we're supposed to do things with, but this is really empty for some reason.
Yeah, it's a very empty dungeon.
Really
just to speak to, it does create a lot of lag, so in the areas it has to save time in, it has to be faster than menuing and creating all the lag with the magic rod. In Armos Maze, it lags so bad that it's just faster to deal with the lag than it is to prevent all of that stuff from happening. So, if anybody has played any other version of the game, they're added more hints to the dungeons in the form of an owl, because they figured, well, we couldn't have a stone tablet here. And stone tablets are things that the game, despite always being part of a wall, except for here, well, they're always something the game has to spawn in. So there's a ledge there, and as Mighty sets this up, and we can say hi to horse heads, which are RNG. Oh, what? I've never seen
I
that
think you're
before.
too far away.
That's
That's too far away.
You gotta be close to the transition in order for it
Yeah.
to work.
Yeah.
I've never seen
The lag doesn't carry over
Also,
properly.
shoutouts to the other shack jump there.
Many shack
Yeah.
jumps. Goodbye, orb that ruins your run if you fall into it.
So, if anybody has ever watched Mighty run any other run seasons, everybody knows that Facade is never a
Not
boss
real.
that Nintendo has ever coded correctly. So he's gone now as we go for another ICS.
And he gets it.
Yo, and he
Nice.
gets it.
Easy.
Nice.
Didn't even
Very
pick up the
nice.
head
They
though
think
for
quit
that.
too early? That would have been bad.
Don't Mambo's Mambo in front of the instrument.
Please don't be all those.
Don't be all of us. There's no owl here.
Yeah.
There's nothing on this island. Good.
Yeah. It's all
Yeah,
dreams. I mean, wait, what?
I mean, that's why we see it in black and white, because Link is this is secretly the dream of a dog.
It's the Twilight Zone.
Yeah, something like that.
It's a dream before television was created.
The scary door. I think TV existed in the early 90s, Matt.
Yeah, but the game
Pretty
didn't
sure.
have to be set in the early 90s.
That's fair. So here's Dungeon 5. If you play any category other than this one, and I guess a dumb category we have in the DX game called No Stew, this dungeon is by far the worst dungeon in the game, but it doesn't exist. We're just going to be doing this forever. As he accidentally sets the helmet on fire, and he's got to wait a little bit.
On magic, man. It's on magic.
Oh, yeah, it's on magic, right. You're right. It's on magic.
That's on
So
PK
this would be a
Fire.
great time to read some donations, because there's not much more to talk about this, because we're just going to be ignoring the whole dungeon.
Sounds good. We have a $250 donation from Toby-ish saying, love Link's Awakening, love doctors, what's not to donate? And also a $100 donation from Just Gus 101 saying, already did my donation for the day, but Mighty Mouse Mom Blessed Run made me donate again. We also have $35 from Glyph176 saying, hello, Mighty. Good luck from me and the rest of the Link's Awakening DX community. I'm going to donate another $2 for every unintentional bonk making boots better than seeds because they raise more money for charity.
Shouts to Glyph. He just got the 100% record for this game recently.
Let's be honest, boots are better than seeds. We don't need artificially enhanced things. We have cardio.
Yeah, that's true. So, Mighty missed this earlier, but if you jump against a... Oh, he didn't even go for it there. If you clip into a wall while jumping, you can dive. So this jump is a very dumb jump. In theory, you can back it up if you're really cool with the mushroom, but you can just barely boots jump onto like the pullable bridge and then wiggle yourself over, skipping the need for hookshot, because I bet you can guess to what's going to happen to the hookshot required boss at the end of this dungeon.
Well, that hookshot required boss. There isn't one at the end of this dungeon, is
Yeah.
there?
There are no more bosses.
Yeah, also this is
Enemies on Coal and Tile.
this is one part that I liked a lot about the remake, was the part where the puzzles quote unquote stay completed. You never have to repeat do that room.
It's
That's
also
nice.
worth noting that Mighty does another load prevention magic rod trick in that room that had the skull on the floor. Because normally he's supposed to fight Master Stalfos there. And when he goes in, Master Stalfos is still there. So he needs to get rid of him to ensure that he doesn't have to do an extra boss fight.
So
with a bunch of bombs.
here's another
hard
horrible jump. Yeah, he didn't quite get boot speed there.
Yeah,
Keep not getting boost speed.
it's really tough. Okay, there we go. So now, nothing here. Just a room with a rectangle in it.
Definitely not the
Xylophone.
worst boss in the entire game.
And that's another ICS. Very nice.
It
Hell
comes so
yeah.
easily to him. I just
I've
wanna do
missed
it.
one so far.
Yeah, you've only missed one. And that was
Yeah.
the D3 one.
Yeah, that's the one you always want to get, because then you don't have to worry as much about walrus, but probably doing that safety save there is a lot safer regardless, because it's still 20 seconds lost if you miss it.
Now what's this? The long run to D8?
Yeah, we have a long run to D8.
Fun run.
Some more fun things going on. We're basically through anything that's going to give us any challenges whatsoever. We have 2 instruments left. There's Mario. Say hi to him.
Oh, right. It's worth noting that we're going to get a fairy here. That's the last time we can get guaranteed heals.
Yeah. And as you can see, we have all the heart containers. They fill up 1 row. There's just empty space there because Nintendo was lazy. There's no other heart containers in this game, obviously.
Definitely not.
No. But, so here is, in other versions of this game, you can jump on lava or do other silly things. In this one, you have to do a really cool super jump where you land on the wall and then you jump over the stairs in order to make it. And I really like that super jump.
It's so cool.
Nothing to see here. This is just it melted and...
I missed one.
It's close.
Hey, I mean, still getting the others is very impressive. That's only 2 missed so far.
It's better than average so far.
Yeah.
True.
So
now we can count again, right? We've done all the dungeons. We did 1, 3, 4,
No, we got
5.
2.
Or 1,
2.2.
2.1, 3, 4, 7, 8.1, 6,
5,
5,
8.2,
8.2, and then we're gonna be going to 2.2. I think.
Yeah, so if anybody has played this game casually, you know that the genie just kind of laughs about how you can't break his bottle. Well, it's made out of clay,
What are you
so
doing,
we're just gonna
Lunya?
overheat it and crack it into a
You
million
doing
pieces, and
Lunya?
he's so sad he won't even show up in the room.
No.
That's the lore.
Hey,
That's
come
what
on.
we're sticking to.
Come on.
Also, we're gonna say hi
There you
to
go.
other great Zelda enemies, the Goomba and the Piranha Plant. Let's see if he gets the swag. Oh, he didn't go for the swag there. You can jump just barely over it and hit it with a magic rod.
Also, Cole's voice.
You make a
You
loud
need to
sound
kill these
by
enemies. Yeah. You need to kill these enemies in a certain order. Casually, I don't think. How would anyone know what a Pole's voice is?
You read the
It
Zelda
says it's
Done
imprisoned. So
Before
it's
you
the
play
only
this
one
game.
that's trapped. In defense of that hint.
Yeah, and if you read the manuals, you knew what a Pole's voice was from like the older games. It's how I knew what it was anyway. But
I'll probably
There's, yeah, Genie was too scared,
yeah,
too embarrassed.
You ever
And-
seen the?
Very nice. That's all of the ICS.
Have you ever seen Zelda Ballad of the Goddess, the orchestra? That conch shell is the only reason I'm upset with their rendition of Ballad of the Windfish, because they don't have a guy on stage jamming out on a conch shell. But anyway, so we are approaching the final area of the game, the Windfish's Egg, as we are hopefully not spawning an owl, and just bomb triggering again now that we have all 8 instruments, and everyone please rise for the national anthem of Puddle Island, who remains silent.
Okay.
So, it's worth noting now that we're going into the egg, and the egg is supposed to be randomized, and you get the code from the book in the library after you've gone through the trading sequence and gotten the magnifying light. Which you guys never knew was that there's a default if you never read the book, and it's left, left, up, right, right, up, left, up.
Okay, sorry. I only do that for safety.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
very important.
He's doing that because he. So we don't have powder right now. The first phase of the final boss is weak to powder, and you can, especially, and this is a good thing if you're learning this game. You don't have to learn this trick or get it. You can just waste 30 seconds because you're gonna lose time elsewhere. And go grab the powder. But if he lands this bomb trigger, we have a consistent setup that we can kill the nightmare with our the first form of the nightmare with the sword. He goes, lines himself up, and sets himself up with this. This was found actually like last year, the consistent setup for it, which makes this category raceable, basically, unless you want to waste 30 seconds.
And then we have the Aghanim manip found by Vlack, the Mad Lad.
I think I messed it up.
It's fine. But yeah, essentially how the manip works is if you get rid of the music, shame. Anyways, if you get rid of the music, you can essentially manipulate Aghanim to always shoot the energy balls at you by standing in specific positions using an app or a spreadsheet or whatever. Unfortunately, Mighty messed it up, but if you do get it right, you actually can consistently get perfect RNG on Aghanim. Unfortunately, getting blue balls like this is not very good because not only do we have to fight Ganon after this, but the final portion of this fight, Death Eye, does a full heart of damage if you hit his arms.
Yeah, and one of the reasons why the manip even works is because when you get the bomb trigger, the music doesn't spawn, the music rolls RNG. That was not the greatest thing in the world with the amount of blue balls. It is 50-50 uncapped. Here's Moldorm, and he doesn't quite get the quick kill. You can sort of stun lock him in place, and then it's like 16 sword slashes or 15 sword slashes if you do that with spin slash. Although you can slash him until time ends, he won't die until you stop. So,
or you can just completely get rid of him, and then you soft lock. That's fun.
Yeah, if you can kill a lot of things if you hit them 256 times. But as we have one last portion of RNG left in the game, that is Devil's eyeball. When he decides to open his eye, there wasn't a mini boss there. You just spin slash for fun. But it's the last part of RNG. And so again, the 3 portions of RNG for this run are just your Goomba Surfs, Aghanim, this guy opening his eye. You don't have to deal with any of the other RNGs and any of the other categories, like the cutscenes in this game are all RNG. I had to make sure I mentioned that. It's very important.
So now you have to hit the eye.
Oh wow, this is actually pretty sick Death Eye so far.
You in theory can get, that was very good. You in theory can get 5 hits in, but it's tasks, and time is when the screen fades away at the top of the stairs, because you can die on those stairs if you do certain stupid things.
And
time.
GG.
Excellent work, Mighty.
Very nice run.
Very good.
Yeah, there's the owl come to unnoticed one last time.
But the owl transforms into a punk windfish, so, you know.
Either a punk windfish or it's a space whale.
He's got a punk choker on his tail, right? He's ready to go, like, just...
He's clubbing.
Yeah, he's clubbing now.
Yeah. Shoutouts to Black and Sagas and everybody for getting the manip down as well as it did, even though I messed it up. It really, really helped make the run actually runnable. And shoutouts to the comp people, because y'all did great lifting me because I don't have a good speaking voice. And then there's a tournament going on right now for LADX 100%, and that's fun, and you know, just everybody in the LA community. You're all very wonderful and amazing, and I really like running this game because y'all make it fun.
Yeah, if you want to join our Discord, it's on the speedrun.com page. We will help you get started with this game. It is very fun. There are a lot of categories for this game overall, because this game is, we didn't even scratch the surface of how unbelievably busted this game is. The rules are in place just so we can play it one way or another.
including $250 from Dr. John 222, saying, one of my favorite games in my childhood. I played it every time in the car when we drove to the ocean on vacation. I only needed 5 hours to beat it. Gadget Girl contributes $20 to Doctors Without Borders and says, how could I not donate for Mighty Mouth's mom and dog? Thanks for the great run and for putting on such a great event. Confirmed Deletion donates $25, saying, thanks so much for all you do, GDQ. Loving the Zelda runs as I get ready to go back to teach in the classroom. It's dangerous to go alone, so I'll take my mask. Jenny at 228 donates $250. Donate during Link's Awakening, one of my favorite games of all time. I'm very much enjoying the event this year, but I do miss the audience yelling for. Donation incentive goes to Runner's Choice. Fat Lemon donates $20, and it's good to see that the Olympic hello to Mighty Mouth's mom. The games her son played don't take long. This donation's a hint. Where is that Kovalent? Helping Doctors Without Borders can't be wrong. Now, I know you all like some prizes, so let's hear about some amazing ones, courtesy of Scent. Scent, take it away.
Hello everyone and welcome back to Summer Games Done Quick 2020 online. My name is Sent, and of course I'm here to tell you all about some of the amazing prizes you could win. Now the prizes I'm going to be talking about right now are available from now, starting with The Last of Us, for a little while throughout the marathon. Let me check. I forgot when they end. Let me go check on that real quick. There's Sonic Heroes. There's only professionalism when Scent is involved, let me tell ya. Memorizes everything, knows everything there is to know about prizes. Let's talk about some of these prizes anyway. We got a couple of great ones. You're definitely going to want to donate for them. Hey, Scent, you're not ready to do prizes again. Mm-hmm. I'm ready. I have the prizes right here. I just forgot when they started, Prizemon. It's fine. He not ready. He not ready to do prizes. I do prizes. Yes. Alright, fine. You want to do some prizes? You could do the prizes. Okay. Good prizes. Prizes like this Sonic print from Iggy Zig. Iggy Zig, good friend and good host of stream. Sonic, kind of sad. He cannot outrun past. Neither can Prize Monster. The cookies they call to me, but I cannot have them. But you could have print. Is only $15 minimum donation. Get donations in. Yes. To Sonic Heroes Set. Remember, Sonic Heroes. I remember. Thank you for the reminder. Alright, we're gonna set that down gently. Now from our friend Kawais, we have this absolutely beautiful, fully functional Sega Dreamcast. Now the Sega Dreamcast is a console that might have been before some of your times, but truly a really great console to have. Tons of great games. Of course, the Sonic Adventure games, Panzer Dragoon, so many beautiful games on there. It is I believe, $20 minimum donation from now until the end of Sonic Heroes. It comes with 2 controllers. It comes with all the cables that you need to operate it. And I think it comes with a copy of Sonic Adventure because there happens to be one in the console. So we're going to say, sure, that's part of the prize too. Hopefully Kawai didn't want that. It's probably fine. It's probably fine. Sonic Adventure, good game. Yes, everyone likes Sonic Adventure. So yeah, $20 minimum donation. Make sure to get in on that. It is getting really hard to find the Dreamcasts lately. From what I understand, the lasers are starting to fail and replacements are becoming harder and harder to find. Now, of course, when we're talking about prizes, we gotta talk about our grand prize. Now, our grand prize is amazing. It's a choice of a different prop from Heroic Replicas. Shout out to Heroic Replicas for making it happen. We have so many amazing choices for you to pick from. There's a Buster Sword, There's a Fierce Deity sword. There's the Chris sword from the Legend of Zelda, the animated cartoon. Yeah, the animated cartoon. People watch the animated cartoon. Yeah, you know, excuse me, princess, and all that. Oh yeah, we remember. We didn't want to remember. But we also have some great stuff that I can show off right here in front of you. Let me just take these headsets off. Boring conversation anyway. Great prizes, like you could get this beautiful Hylian shield here. No, absolutely lovely. We also have, of course, the Master Sword. Now the one I have on hand happens to be a Dark Link variation. And there are two variations of the Dark Link blade. One that's kind of intentionally tarnished in order to give it that, you know, weathered look of a battle-worn sword. But there's also the one I have here with, you know, a perfectly gleaming blade, as well as two variations of Link's blade with purple and blue accents respectively. We also have a Zora guitar from Majora's Mask that's available in a base. There are so many great options. Please head over to GamesDoneQuick.com and check out the tracker, because while you're there, you'll be able to find everything you need to know about upcoming speedruns that are going to be in the event, upcoming incentives you can put your donations towards, because remember, you don't have to donate specifically towards the prizes, you just need to donate. Incentives like the Resident Evil 3 Remake bonus game we have later tonight. I believe that's still about $55,000-$60,000 off. You'll want more zombie games in the marathon. We're going to see The Last of Us coming up next, but you'll want more zombies. I want more zombies. Everything needs more zombies. And of course, all of the amazing prizes you can win and how much you need to donate in order to win them. All that information is there and more. Now, I'm going to kick back, put on a nice hoodie, get warm and comfy, and get ready for Anthony Caliber's run of The Last of Us.
Hell yeah.
Still got some amazing love coming in from that awesome Link's Awakening run. Daniel S. donates $75, saying, I've seen some runs of Link's Awakening, but I've never seen it being played this way. Great performance, Mighty Mount. It was a tremendous performance indeed. $20 from Seppi D, saying, I have to donate during one of my favorite childhood games. Good luck on the run, Mighty. Mr. Game and Shout contributes $15. Little haiku action. GDQ is great, but better with family. Hello, Mighty's mom. All right, and we are going to head over. It is time for some more amazing runs. We've got Anthony Caliber with The Last of Us. Take it away.
Alright, hello everyone, I am Anthony Caliber.
And I'm Dino Fellas-Tophus, or The Last of Us if you want to pronounce it properly.
There's Dino, and for the first time ever at GameStone Quick, very excited about this. This is The Last of Us. So here we go, right off the bat. New game, Grounded. We're going to be doing Grounded mode and Glitchless. There is an any percent category, but we're going to be doing Glitchless. And just in case the game crashes, I'm going to make this under a save file. Alright, here we go. So, Last of Us. Game came out in 2013 on the PlayStation 3 and was remastered about a year later on the PlayStation 4. This is the version we're doing, remastered. Frame rate's upgraded from 30 to 60, so it's a lot easier to control. And again, we're doing this on Grounded, which is the hardest of the 5 difficulties. Funny enough, if you wanted to play Grounded on PlayStation 3, you actually have to buy this difficulty, because it's technically DLC. And keep this in your memory, because it's DLC, there are some side effects to Grounded, but we'll go over that a little bit later. Okay, timer starts when we skip the first cutscene. Just gotta wait for these loading screens. Here we go. Okay. So timer starts in 3, 2, 1, go.
Okay, so this is Sarah. She's the 12-year-old daughter of a single parent called Joel, In the opening cutscene, the one that we just missed, she stayed awake to give her dad his birthday present, a watch. She eventually falls asleep. Joel carries her up to her bed, moves a lock of hair that's fallen over her face, and says, "Good night, baby girl." I'm just mentioning that because it will be said again, but for now, we're playing a walking sim.
Yeah, don't blink or you're gonna miss all this crazy speedrunning action. Just look how fast we're going. Triangle prompt hit, left foot, left foot, so fast. Turn that right corner. Now we gotta walk down some stairs. Left turn.
A new experience for all of us.
So immersive. Alright. The game, okay. Take it from me, the game does get off to a bit of a slow start, but once we hit around 19 minutes, you know, the game starts to really pick up. And I love this game, just in general and as a speed run. Alright, Dino, what's happening here?
Well, we're about to meet Jimmy, albeit briefly. But as you probably heard from the telephone conversation, something rather nasty is going down in the town of Austin, in Texas. I can't do the accent. There is a little, not a collectible, but a little artifact in the kitchen from her Uncle Tommy. He's left a message on Joel's phone to say that he's on his way. Some people have said, "Oh, how convenient that Tommy should turn up now."
Jimmy was a real one. That's a shame.
Yeah. And his actual name is Jimmy Cooper, apparently. So if anybody can do, if anybody could do the Jimmy Cooper voice, I can't do it.
Okay, so what was that thing? What happened to Jimmy?
Right, well, the game, a lot of people talk about zombies. They think this is a zombie apocalypse game. But no. Never use the word zombie. We're talking about infected. There is a real world fungal infection called cordyceps. Now, thankfully, it only affects ants, but not this ant. Tim Corman. No, not him. The game is based on a mutation of that, which is affecting humans in the same way. It takes over the brain, makes them highly aggressive, cannibalistic, not nice. And there are 4 stages of that infection, but we'll meet those a little bit later.
Right now it's just with runners. Okay, and this is the day of, like, the outbreak across the entire world.
Which incidentally is set in present day, in other words, 2013, when the game came out.
Yeah, the game came out in June 2013, but the outbreak is September 20-something, 2013.
I can never remember whether it's 26th or 29th.
I'm gonna say 26th. Or it might have been like 24th. I don't know. I forget. It's okay, I just run this game every day. Okay, so, like I said, we're doing this on grounded difficulty, the hardest of the 5. Now, grounded it's really brutal. It's the closest thing there is to dying in one hit. The description of grounded is enemies do triple damage. A rifle bullet will leave you with, like, that much health. A revolver will kill you in 2 hits. A pistol will kill you in 3 hits. 3 punches as well. A melee weapon hit will pretty much kill you in 1 hit because they combo their attacks. And crafting ingredients. Throughout the game you pick up crafting ingredients to, let's see, blades, binding, rags, alcohol, explosives, and sugar to craft shivs, molotovs, medkits, smoke bombs, and nail bombs.
And a lot of those ingredients are shared, so you have to be really careful about what you choose to use them for.
Yep, like a Molotov and a medkit require the same crafting ingredients. Now, on easy mode, there could be a table with, like, whole ingredients of crafting materials. There could be, like, a whole thing of a bunch of stuff. But on grounded, there may be a quarter of one of those things or nothing at all. Resources are very scarce. There's also supplements and parts which you can use to upgrade Joel, like his listen mode, his healing and crafting speed, or use the parts to upgrade Joel's weapons. Now, in this game, we pick up 50 supplements to upgrade his weapon sway, and 96 parts to upgrade right holster and clip capacity in the rifle, but that's later. Uh-oh. No, it's okay, they're fine.
That didn't end well. Oh, another thing, one of the unique things about the grounded mode is the lack of a HUD. Anthony, yes.
Yeah, on the bottom right, on easy, normal, hard, and survivor, all of the hold on. On easy, normal, hard, and survivor, the heads-up display on the bottom right is there, but on grounded, it's automatically turned off. So you don't know how much health you have, you don't know how many bullets are in a magazine, you don't know how many hits you have left with a melee weapon, or how many shivs you have. You can use the... Oh, this guy's not being very friendly. He's not social distancing. There we go, Tommy. Let's see.
But the one thing that is consistent, regardless of difficulty, is the fact that the townsfolk of Austin do not know how to run. They are like 2-year-olds.
No, it's like their left shoelaces and their right shoelaces are tied together or something. Oh, there, down goes one. This guy really struggling here. Now, all these people are random every single time, but Tommy is consistent every time. I know exactly where he's going to be. So we need him to push us. Oh, down goes another. Come on, Tommy. Tommy? There you are. Oh, this guy must be his first day in Boston. Just looking around.
That's not Boston.
Unlike the townsfolk, Tommy has a hitbox which will push you. The townsfolk develop a hitbox after they've glitched through you and they stop you dead. So you really don't want one of them to be right in front of you. You can't run through it.
Yep. Oh, also QTE prompts are disabled on grounded. So if you're playing grounded for the first time, you would have no clue that you have to mash square to get this one off you.
Okay, so we think we're about to escape the chaos, but in the cutscene that's coming up, Joel gets stopped by a soldier who's been given instructions, like the rest of the military, to not let anybody leave the town. Soldier opens fire, but Tommy, as he's promised here, arrives in time to kill him. Unfortunately and tragically, big tears, Sarah was hit and died in Joel's arms. And that is going to be the end of 2013, and we will jump ahead 20 years. Oh, you know, before I was talking about the infected, how they become very, very aggressive with hardly any brain function? So, 20 years later, the military are now in control of the few quarantine zones that are still operating. This lady here is Tess. And this is Boston.
Yep, we're in a quarantine zone in Boston. Now, we're obviously going to skip all the cutscenes, but what I did there after the cutscene was a restart encounter, and the restart encounter does a lot of different things throughout this run. What it did there was it skipped the camera panning down and showing Joel and Tess leaving the building, which saves like 17 seconds. Sometimes it like skips in-game cinematics, sometimes it places you and your companions further, and it does other stuff throughout the run. But we'll...
we are on a mission. We're on a mission at the moment. We are looking for a contact, an arms dealer or just another smuggler called Robert, who owed Tess or Joel and Tess had paid for a shipment of arms from him, and they've not turned up. Worse than that, Robert actually sent a couple of goons to try to kill Tess. So we're going to go and find him now. We know where he is. Tess knows where he is, so we're going to go and find him and renegotiate.
Yes, use their words and nothing else.
Yeah.
That is a very functioning truck. It'd be a shame if something happened to it. Oh. Darn.
Oops.
Whoopsie.
That's our first. that is our first meeting of the Fireflies, but more about those shortly.
Yep, this is a tutorial. Throw a bottle, open a door, quick turn, or heal yet. 20 years, but today's the day he's finally going to learn all these things.
It has to happen eventually. Can't put it off forever.
Yep, right here, you can't move until you heal. X up R1. There we go. Okay.
Okay. The famous hallway push. Will we get it?
I don't know. There's something that normally you have to stand behind Tess and this guy. But if you walk the right way, you can get to the left of him and get in front of him, and sometimes you can boost you down this entire hallway. We'll see if we get it. You gotta slowly inch your way to the left.
This is a case of threading the eye of a needle, and sometimes even if you get it right, it still won't work.
I didn't get it. It's random. Sometimes he can just send you launching down the entire hallway. Oh well. Which is allowed in the glitchless category. There's a lot of sketchy things that are allowed in the glitchless category. But that's really because when you play this game fast, it is quite broken, unfortunately. I love this game to death, but it's pretty broken when you try and play it fast. Things can happen without you, like, intentionally wanting to do it. So we allow certain things.
Yes, whenever you do a run and it's called glitchless, there's always going to be a few things that happen, and I know what will happen in chat. People will say, oh, that's a glitch, surely. All we can say on that is that when it comes to the strats that we think might look a little bit sketchy, they are put to a panel of speedrun.com mods, and they make a decision on what is allowed. So anything that you see in this game and you think it looks a little bit dodgy and is simply playing by the rules, everything has been agreed.
It may not look like it, but we allow a lot of things because it can either happen without you intending to, by accident, because an area can soft lock or stuff like that. For example, there's a section later on in the high school where once you kill all the enemies, you can restart encounter and get all your supplies back. The reason we allow it is because why do we allow that again? Right, because if you hit the triangle prompt for the door too early, you actually soft lock the area, and the only way out would be to restart encounter. So, stuff like that. Okay, let's see, is there anything about ground that I left out? Oh yes, big important one. Your guns actually do more damage compared to the other difficulties to compensate for grounded being really, really difficult.
Come on.
For example, the pistol on easy, normal, hard, and survivor will down an enemy in 3 hits. Revolver and the rifle will down in 2 hits. Now, on grounded mode, a pistol will down in 2 hits, and the rifle and revolver will down in 1 hit. Also, you're seeing that I'm crouch walking here, because sometimes the game will force you to walk. Even if you're holding down sprint, you can't run or sprint. So in those cases, we want to crouch walk, because crouch walking is faster than walking, for some reason.
And we can't bunny hop.
No, no jumping. That's a sequel thing.
Don't mention the sequel.
This is Last of Us 1. Okay, here comes a restart encounter, which saves all of 1 second. And top of the ladder. Stuff like that. Stuff like that really adds up over the course of what I hope is around 2 hours and 52 minutes. I'd be happy with that. You never know, though. That's why I put an estimate of 3 hours. The record is 2 hours and 49 minutes. But 3-hour estimate. You never know. This is grounded. There are some things in this game where, you know, if I don't have the right amount of supplies or the right amount of health, not only can I not do a section fast, I can't do it at all.
You okay?
We're going to do a couple marathon safe strats.
But we were talking about the supply of ammo drops, also the craftables. They are very scarce in grounded. However, when it comes to the parts and the pills, that you pick up in this game, they are consistent regardless of the difficulty. They're always the same.
Parts and supplements are exactly the same throughout all difficulties. Okay, so here we go. Took a while, but here's our first enemy encounter. These are runners, the same people that attacked us in the intro. All right, we have 5 bullets. We're gonna get 3 headshots. 1. I missed. That was a really nice backup, so okay. Headshot registrations in this game are a little iffy. You could hit the top of the forehead, but the game
I would say
it hits like the back or something.
Shall we use the word unforgiving?
It's a good word. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, but that was all planned. Everything in this run is planned ahead of time. We had 5 pistol bullets, and now we have 2. That's one thing I forgot to mention. On Grounded, not so much with the other difficulties, but on Grounded, you will only get ammo drops if you're below a certain amount.
Oh, another little trick coming up here. If Joel is crouched in a small opening, sprint and...
Yep, I think that's only possible on Remastered because of the frame rate. Yep, just hold down sprint, leaving an enclosed area, and he'll do a little launch there. Okay, but with the ammo, I believe if you're with pistol, if you're at 3 bullets or less, you can you'll potentially get a drop of pistol. If you're at 2 revolver bullets or less, you'll get a drop. But the shotgun is also 2 or less, and the rifle, I think you have to be at 0. That's really all that matters.
This game also... But this game can play mind games with you as well. There's a section in Billstown coming up a little bit later where a clicker, one of the other infected types, gets blown up by a bomb set by Bill. Oh, another restart encounter point here. Takes us into the next room. Very randomly, that clicker can either drop nothing, or I think it was on your stream a couple of weeks ago where he dropped 2 or 3 rifle
2 rifle bullets. I have no idea why. Also,
and you feel that you really want to pick them up, but this game does have a habit of punishing you when you have more ammo than you would usually have at that point. So it's fine if you feel that you want to use those 2 rifle ammo, go ahead, but you may find that you don't get drops later on when you do need them.
Yeah. Also, pay no attention to the fact that I was like unloading the outside. It's just a visual thing. I like to do that. Okay, we're coming up to the slums, which, if I make it past pretty cleanly, I'll be very happy, because it's one of my least favorite sections to perform in the speedrun, because it's tough. You don't have a lot of ammo and weapons at the moment, and the AI is... it's consistent for the most part, but it can be a little off sometimes. But again, we have 2 pistol bullets, and we're gonna take out 2 enemies in the next area. One guy always drops 3. The second guy sometimes drops a bullet. So yeah, we'll have to see what happens.
Do we have time for a quick donation or 2?
Yes, you do.
All right, we have $10 from Matt Aquino saying, let's give Ellie that high 5 she deserves. We have a current bid war going on to give Ellie that high 5 or to leave her hanging, so get those donations in if you'd like that. We also have a $10 donation from Jojo207 saying, love what y'all are doing, can't wait to see The Last of Us done in 3 hours on Grounded, no less.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Yep. So around 2 hours in, we get to the dam chapter, and you can choose to high 5 Ellie or not. That's the bid war for the day. I usually don't high 5 her because it's like 2 seconds slower, but then she makes you feel really bad about it. Okay, here we go. So these 2 enemies. Nice job, Tess. These 2 enemies, they won't react if you just run right up to them. So there we go. Headshot the one. You had no clue I was there. And then body shot and punch the other. And that guy drops 3. Now the next area. There is a locked door and 3 enemies. Now, the key for the locked door belongs to one of the enemies. It's not the same enemy each time. It's whoever you kill last is the one who has the key. So we're gonna fire some bullets and punch people in a very specific way, so the last guy we kill is hopefully right next to the locked door. The specifics here is...
You may also see in this section... sorry. You may also see in this section how ridiculously far away something can be when you want to pick it up. You will probably pick up the key from a distance of 4 or 5 meters. Joel has amazingly long arms.
Yeah, it's funny how far away you can be from something and still pick it up. All right, here we go.
What are you guys doing?
I missed. I don't normally do that. All right, I have to do a backup strat now. Headshot registrations, dude. All right, gotta be over here now. All right, I don't know where the last guy's gonna be. Let's see. He's over there. I'm just gonna play it a little safe. All right. Missed the headshot. There, he picked up that key all the way from over there. It's alright, I expect stuff like that to happen throughout the run. As long as we're good on health and ammo, I'm not worried. Here we go, just keep trying to save all that ammo. There we go. Can you believe that headshot missed? Yeah, just like I was saying before. Alright, I'm gonna play it safe and pick up that med kit there. I can't believe that headshot missed.
I was absolute. I was convinced you got him right in the middle of the head there.
Oh my god. I said it before. Right here. Right here. They think it hit somewhere here. Oh my gosh. Whatever. We're good on health. We didn't take any damage. We are perfect on ammo. That's all I care about right now. Okay, Wharf. I don't know.
Oh, jeez.
I think.
What?
9 or 10, I think.
You mess around.
Run past them all. Alright. Let go of sprint when you pick up this brick. Hold it back down when he stands up. We get alerted, but that's part of the route. Run to the right of this guy. And we are good. Perfect.
And there is Robert. So a little cutscene coming up here, in which Robert and his ridiculous ponytail will bite the dust, because Tess has had enough of him. Don't mess with Tess. But it's also where Marlene appears. Now, she's the leader of the Fireflies, a struggling resistance movement. And Robert, as it turns out, sold the guns to her. Now, she's not just going to give them back, she wants to trade, so she strikes a bargain with Tess and Joel. They can have the weapons, and more. You'll be very generous if they smuggle something out of the city. We have no idea what that is yet, but we're about to find out.
Yep. And like what I showed off there on the wharf, it looked like I sprinted through the entire area, but I didn't. I stopped sprinting at a very specific spot, like an invisible line in the ground, that if I did sprint the entire way past it, I would get alerted much earlier and shot, like, a lot. And definitely 100% just die. So, at certain points while I'm just sprinting through an area, I stop sprinting just a little bit and then start it back up again. The stopping of the sprint lasts usually like a second, sometimes less than a second, but it just delays their alert. Also, keep this in your memory. Right now I have nothing to craft. Once I pick up your first of something, in this case it's a shiv, it gives me the crafting ingredients to craft another one right then and there. Keep that in mind for later, because we are going to take advantage of the game's generosity with that. Because it's kind of hard to explain. It's like inventory manipulation.
Oh, and one thing that you'll notice a little bit further into the game is certain items that we could pick up, certain weapons, we will deliberately miss them first time we encounter them. Not just weapons, but things like Molotovs and, well, not Molotovs, but what we do is we leave the first one. And the reason for it is that Joel will pick up that item and look at it and examine it as if he's never seen one before. But it's only on the first time that we see one. So we'll always ignore those and pick them up later.
Yep. Okay, right here. Stop sprinting. Start sprinting. Swing at this guy. I don't know why Joel's model just froze there. This might be bad.
Yeah, it looked like he was slightly... Yeah, he was just slightly slow moving off the blocks there.
We're okay. Woo, okay.
Yeah, we're fine.
Joel kind of got stuck there on the crate. It's really bad if you die there. Whew, all right. That's grounded, people. I got shot once.
And that is one of the few occasions in this game where a restart encounter is what you don't want.
Normally I just swing at the guy and just run past. He got frozen there. I don't know. Hopefully that don't happen again. All right. Health right here doesn't matter. You can see him grabbing his side. The color on my controller is still blue, so that's good. If you're like really in peril, the color on your controller will change to like yellow, orange, or red.
But the restart encounter here, because we're so far ahead of the other two, just brings them to where we are.
Do we have time for another couple quick donos?
Yes, you do. Nothing happened in here.
Alrighty, so we have a $200 donation from Your Lags ASE saying, had to donate for one of my favorite games, doing my part so that Ellie gets a high five. Don't leave her hanging. Good luck with your run.
Amazing, thank you.
We also have a $10 donation from Valyrian Paper saying, finishing cleaning the house, that's the last of dust.
Boo.
And then we also have a $50 donation from Scary Carrie saying, so glad I was able to make it for the Last of Us run. Good luck, Anthony. Let's get that bonus Resident Evil 3 remake run later on.
Yay.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Oh, so here's the cargo that we're smuggling. It's a 14-year-old girl called Ellie, who she has to be taken to the Capitol building, which is outside the quarantine zone, to meet a contingent of Fireflies. Now, in that cutscene that we just skipped, we learned from Marlene that Tommy, Joel's brother, who we met earlier, was with the Fireflies for a time, and Marlene evidently holds him in very high regard, which is why she entrusts Ellie to Joel and Tess. Now, where is Tess, you might wonder? Well, Tess has gone to check with Marlene that the weapons actually exist, but in the meantime, we have to take Ellie to this safe house, which is where we are now. And in the little cutscene that comes up, Joel decides he's going to get some sleep. Ellie walks by him and says, your watch is broken, which is when we realise that the watch that Sarah gave him for his birthday, it is broken, but he still wears it.
There it is. You can see it right there. Yep.
She's lost a lot of men. Beggars can't be choosers.
Which, according to Troy Baker, who plays Joel, the watch did actually break in that cutscene where Sarah dies. It's not stated in the game, but that's what he said, so we believe it.
Yeah. I trust him. A bullet must have hit it or something. Okay, how many of these generators do we use throughout the game? 4? Was it 4 or 5?
I think it's 5.
I think so too.
Might need people in chat to keep count for us.
Yep. They all look the same, and they all turn on when you pull it 3 times. I love video game logic. Alright, neat little trick coming up here. All this little stuff, you know, it adds up over the course of 3 hours. So right here, if you hit triangle, if you hold down triangle when you start climbing this ladder and point the camera up, you can hit the triangle prompt at the bottom of the ladder instead of climbing all the way up to trigger this in-game cutscene.
Big mistake by Joel here. You see those 2 soldiers just disappearing off the truck? Joel thinks that they've gone. Bad call, Joel. Very bad.
Right, up. this area is called the outside, but the area after this is called the downtown building, and that's where the run really starts picking up.
So, we're about to go through this truck here and get collared by these two soldiers.
Yep. Just
And, and being reasonable people, we kill them. Now, one of the two soldiers that we just killed was carrying a handheld scanner, which shows whether or not a person is infected. Now, Ellie has returned a positive, but she claims she was bitten 3 weeks ago, so somehow she's immune, because turning usually takes
I know.
But Joel
Not dinner time yet.
the conversation has been cut short because one of the soldiers radioed for backup, and it's arrived, so we're running.
Yep, just gotta run. You don't have to kill anybody. There are a lot of sections where you have to kill everybody in order to progress, and others where you can just run through. So we're gonna take advantage of those sections and save our ammo. Nice jump.
That corner jump is very tricky.
It
But
is.
it's important to get it because it changes what these guys do. Because now Joel can sprint. If he hadn't made the jump, if he'd grabbed onto the ledge or something, it changes the timing.
Yeah, you want to crouch underneath their flashlights, like skimming by you, and then you can just run right past. If you mess up the jump, like Dino said, it affects their flashlight.
Well, now we're getting bullied.
All right, one more stretch of soldiers. Sometimes I take damage here. We'll see what happens. We need to get a brick as well. Don't go around.
Looks good.
They didn't even fire a bullet. Nice. They must have had the safety on their guns or something. Perfect split. Nice.
Hi, honey. Welcome again. Come on, let's go eat dinner. Come on.
These very intelligent soldiers here cannot see Joel's flashlight or anything.
You can't shoot at them, but usually human enemies can see your flashlight. They do nothing with those guys. Nothing at all.
Okay, another cutscene coming up in just at the end of this, where this gate is ahead of us. So Ellie explains that the Firefly's doctors, in some location that she's not aware of, are hoping to use her apparent immunity to create the vaccine. Joel is not interested. He just wants to go back. But Tess persuades him. She says that, they've come this far, so let's just finish it. So we're going to carry on to the Capitol building now.
Yep. Yeah, we have to bring her to the Capitol building, but we gotta make our way through this building because this entire town here was bombed, and like roads don't exist anymore, so we gotta cut through buildings in order to get to where we need to go. This building here is on an angle, clearly, and it's full of infected. So this is where we start having like infected enemy encounters. Just throws you right in there. But we still have a little bit of time before we get there. Let me explain the inventory manipulation that I was talking about. So again, when I picked up that shiv earlier, it gave me the crafting, because it was the first one that I picked up, it gave me the crafting ingredients to craft another one of whatever it is that I picked up, because it was the first. You got shivs, medkits, Molotov, stuff like that. So throughout this downtown building, the game is going to be placing medkits in our way. But we're not going to pick them up, because we don't really need medkits for this run. If a run is perfect, I don't need to heal at all. But what we do need is Molotovs. There's our first supplement pickup right there. So what we want to do is delay picking up what the game thinks is our first medkit. The one in the slums didn't count because that didn't introduce us to crafting.
Oh, Anthony, hold your controller up because you don't need to talk the square prompt. Got to just remind you.
You don't have to press it.
There we go.
Naughty Dog's lying to you there. It's not actually a QTE. Some are. Some aren't. Anyway, before I was so rudely interrupted by that clicker. Well, speaking of which, you can't tell on the heads-up display. Joel has 5 bars of health. That clicker did 2 bars of damage. So now I only have 3 bars of health, which is very inconvenient from here to the capital. Oh, and I also forgot to mention, well, a couple things. See, this is where, like, there are way more strats than I can keep up with. If you enter that door with 2 pistol bullets or less, that clicker will always drop 3. So now we have 5, which is the most we could possibly have. What else? Yes, after certain chapters, you get all of your health back. In this game, off the top of my head, it's after the cargo, after the capital, after Billstown, after the sniper, after the dam fight, after the ranch, and then after winter, and then after the tunnel. So certain chapters, you get all of your health back. Oh, that's a clicker, by the way.
Yes, now the game probably leads you to believe that the clicker is the second stage of infection. It's not, it's actually the third. The second is called the Stalker, but we don't meet those very often. But the first time we meet the Stalker is not in the Stalker room, is it?
The first time we meet stalkers is the hotel basement.
Yes, that's right, yes.
And then the sewers.